And let's get into the top story, which is Machine Head's Robb Flynn. Just, not looking good. Not looking good, buddy.
Speaking of Instagram.
So, funny enough, like we haven't really talked about Robb Flynn on the show.
I mean, in context of like his controversy with Phil Anselmo, we have right.
We briefly mentioned that, and that's honestly where this story starts, because that was when Robb Flynn spoke up against Phil Anselmo because they were at the same show. Mm-hmm. And then, he was like, oh, this is messed up. He was the first person to publicly call out Phil Anselmo. There was a bit of a backlash against him, which at the time I felt was unfounded, that he's just like a big mouth and that he like is just doing this for attention.
Wait, the lead singer of a band is a big mouth who just wants attention? What?
Can't imagine.
And it kind of started this sort of heel turn on Robb Flynn. Like fans started kind of turning against him a little bit, and then people kind of got the vibe that he might be a little full of himself.
Okay,
and also, by the way, that's where that famous Phil Anselmo drop we have. That's who he's talking about, of course. Then a few months ago, it was
this one, right?
Robert.
Legendary.
It wasn't you? This whole time I thought it was about you.
So let me ask a question about that. Is his name actually Robert?
Yeah.
Because Rob is spelled with two B's. So is Robert spelled with two B's?
It could just be Rob. I don't know.
Broccoli Rob.
Look up his Wikipedia. See how it's spelled over there. Anyway, so then it was announced that like all the members of his band were quitting, and everyone was like, "What?"
Always good.
The machine is breaking down.
Only the head was left in the machine head.
Whoa! Robb Flynn, same birthday as me.
Oh. No,
same year.
Not same year. He's 12 years older than me, but the same day.
So and people are like, "Well, that's weird." And then they would do interviews where they were like, "Look, I don't want to trash anyone, but it was just basically became like the Robb Flynn experience. Like we had no say, and it was just like we weren't really into what he was doing."
They didn't like what was transpiring upon the stage. At their
Correct.
shows.
That's Mega Sheen death. You're saying.
And so anyway, Machine had just released a new song, which is the first song he's released since this whole band shift, and well, we could listen to a little bit of it.
Do we have to?
I have clarification on his name, by the way, if you want.
Rob.
His birth name is Lawrence Matthew Cardine.
I can see how you get Rob out of that.
But now he goes by Robert Conrad Flynn, or Rob with two B. The Robert is one B. The Rob is two B's.
So Robert Conrad, like the actor?
Yeah.
He just took the name of the actor, Robert Conrad?
Robert Conrad Flynn, yeah.
But who's Flynn? Where did Flynn come from? Errol Flynn? Is he just a movie buff?
The son on Breaking Bad changed his name to Flynn halfway through the series.
That's
I think
right.
It was in honor of that kid.
Does this guy eat breakfast all the time?
Lots of bacon.
So here's the song. Really? Just a little bit.
One life, one will.
We just have to listen to a little bit of it.
That whole first part sounded like that, what's that song? A 100% luck, 100% skill, concentrated power of will, with the, you know that song I'm talking about,
I have
right?
no idea what that is.
You don't know that?
I don't think so.
Oh, it's like the worst, like a motivational hip-hop song.
Huh.
I can't think of who does that.
DJ
Look up
Joseph Jeff?
Concentrated Power of Will. You'll find it.
Remember the Name by
Yeah,
Fort
that's
Minor?
That's it. Remember
Fort
the
Minor,
name.
isn't that the Linkin Park side project?
Can you look up that song?
Yes.
So people were saying that he ripped that hook, which is absurd, from a Dope song. Remember Dope?
Oh, my God.
Early aught new metal band Dope?
You remember Dope.
Of course I remember Dope.
Awful.
Jam it! Oh. So this is like their biggest hit. I'm gonna have to keep. There we go.
So identical.
So
I used to. This is embarrassing. I used to go out with a girl that really liked dope.
it's so weird. They had such a passionate fan base of like 500 people.
Yeah, I know. I had never even heard of them until this was brought up to me.
I mean, they were on Fred Durst's label.
Oh, well,
So bad.
Anywho, so I guess he was getting a lot of, let's say, negative feedback.
or probably like 3 tweets.
You're right. Yeah.
all
So
it takes.
this guy who is in a successful band, who's been in an active touring international band for 30 years now, 52-year-old man, felt the need to go on Instagram and write this thing that started. Again, now keep in mind, this is not a 17-year-old teenager.
Right.
This is a 52-year-old grown man with children.
It's 52-year-old teenager.
Yeah.
With probably his own teenage children. And he starts it out. I'm going to do it with like a eloquent accent because I feel it
Please.
really
Eloquent accent. All
an
right.
eloquent.
Mention provolone, please.
To all the bitch ass internet troll motherfuckers who keep whining and menstruating about how Do or Die has lyrics from the band Dope, here's a little fucking reminder for your moronic new metal brains. Since 1993 in our song Fuck It All, I've been saying, come on, motherfucker, come on!
Could I?
In the middle of the breakdown.
I just need to interject for 1 second. Your impression sounds sort of like Rebecca Moore, and this leads me to think that the next cameo video she's doing for us is her recital of this comment.
I don't think I could fit that in the.
Oh, you could fit a lot in Rebecca Moore.
Yeah.
Just give it a try, buddy. A lot of room in there.
It was a good. So then he go. Here's some like. I don't want to say this is direct homophobia, but let's just call it problematic language.
Mm-hmm.
He goes. It was a good 7 years before Dope's 2001 Die MF Die came out. You fucking sausage globbers. Oh, gobblers.
Globber.
Globbers.
What, like it matters.
Sausage gobblers.
Can I interject here? So if I understand him correctly, he's saying it was the Dope song came out, and then his song came out 7 years later.
Prior. He's
His
saying
song came out 7 years prior?
prior to the Dope.
Okay, I
song.
got jumbled up then.
Yeah, he's saying, here's me performing at a festival in 1995. This is an Instagram post. It's a video of him performing at a festival in 95 where he says, come on, motherfucker, come on, implying that here, he owns this thing. But hold on.
Uh-huh.
Then he goes, duh, after calling fucking, and like, really, can we break down sausage gobbler?
Yeah.
It's very similar to cocksucker. And if you really take a step back, you're insulting someone for
Liking
servicing
oral sex.
Yeah, for liking oral sex. Like, what's the insult?
Now, can
Like,
I go ahead? I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, go
I
ahead.
have a thought on this.
Sure.
I think when people say cocksucker, it's so ingrained
Yeah.
in society. I can give them a pass.
It's just
Agreed.
generic insult.
But when you extend it to sausage gobbler, you're clearly casting disdain on
Right.
Here's the
on
thing,
sucking
though.
cock.
If he had taken the extra 3 seconds to think about whether that was the best insult to use, then he would have also realized that this post is not worth making at all, and it just wouldn't have happened.
That's a good point.
So clearly there was no pausing, and it was just type, send, done. Back to my taco dinner.
Yeah, this is not the most introspective person on the planet Earth.
Then he goes on to say that actually we're all ripping this off from The Roof is on Fire because, we don't need the water to let the motherfucker, which is like a burn motherfucker burn.
Is every instance of the word motherfucker a ripoff of every? That's so
It's
stupid.
so stupid. And he goes, and if I hear one more fucking internet twathole moaning about cringeworthy lyrics while they sit in front of their computers, stroking their little fucking boners to the lyrical genius of fucking baby metal, eat a bowl of cock. Like, what is with his...
So what we learned
How did Baby
is
Metal get involved in this?
I don't know.
What do they do?
two instances of casting aspersions on performing oral sex on a penis.
Yes!
And he doesn't like vaginas.
Now,
either.
hold on.
A twat hole is an insult.
Oh, that's a great point. Yeah.
The case is building here.
Because the second the Pantera's Walk comes on, with such lyrical Edgar Allan Poe-esque masterpiece, is like, run your mouth when I'm not around, it's easy to achieve, and Walk on home, boy, or Lamb of Gods. This is a motherfucking invitation. These same fucking brain donors run right out onto the dance floor and start headbanging, and rightly so.
Oh boy!
So I guess he's saying nobody's complaining about Walker
Because they're not
that don't like-
stolen. What is he? Is he missing the point of the
And then
criticism here?
P.S. Who the fuck listens to Dope?
That's the first thing he said. That's correct. I agree with that.
But like, why?
doesn't mean you can
but
steal
here's
from
the
him.
thing: Dope didn't do anything to him.
Right.
No.
This is all trolls being like, "You stole this, whatever, whatever."
Why is that
Why-
even? Hold on, I have to interject.
Why
Why
is
is that
it
even
go-
trolling?
It's just
though?
people
It's
with
a-
an opinion.
it's a
Whatever, yeah.
factual comment.
Why is he? And I want to point out also, I'm not sure if we discussed this on the show at the time, but when Avenged Sevenfold released their album "Hail to the King,"
Is it about George W. Bush?
the song they're fucking Republicans,
Yeah.
so
It
maybe
was a forward by Ellen.
there were
Avenged
some.
Ellenfold.
A lot of this, there were
Episode title.
there were a lot of references in their songs to like, okay, this sounds like Metallica, Sad But True. This sounds like this. And Robb Flynn was, again, being such a loudmouth, the first person to call them out and like bitch about like, oh, look at you guys, you're so unoriginal. And then here he is complaining that people are calling him out for this exact same thing. And also, I believe on the last album, there was a single where like he basically, I don't want to say ripped off, but there was a very similar sounding riff or chorus to a Strapping Young Lad song. So what's the point of this is what I'm getting. Like, what are you doing, dude? And
The criticism just hit too close to home.
Right.
He feels exposed.
but this just sheds a brighter light on the like
Well,
I didn't even know about this criticism until I saw this dumb post that
Yeah.
he did.
Yeah.
And the best part about it, so he fucking threw Dope under the bus. Dope responds today.
Do they still exist?
Edsel joke. It's one dude. It's the dude.
Was
Edsel.
it
Dope?
all? Well, sorry to interrupt you. Was it always just one dude?
It was
or
basically like this one dude's
like
band.
Nine
Yeah.
Inch Nails type of thing.
Yeah. I
What's
mean,
his name?
Not in quality,
Edsel?
but the way this
Edsel?
band functions.
Edsel. Edsel.
I'm not
Edsel?
saying they're.
The car?
I guess Edsel.
Wow.
I'm not saying they're the same quality as Nine Inch
Right,
Nails,
yeah.
so the same
It's
functionality.
just his. Yeah. It's him and like session guys.
Nine
So
Inch Nails are the exception that prove the rule that one-person bands are not a good idea.
I want to.
Yes,
I
well,
want
Megadeth.
I want to point out. I briefly met him at like one of those award shows. Edsel. He was a nice guy. He was but
Edsel is a famous car that was a huge dud and like was criticized for being a recall.
Who would name their kid that?
Henry Ford.
Yeah, well-
That's about it.
Oh, yeah.
But he was the first, so
Yeah.
that's okay.
so
Did you think he was in glass casket when you met him? Fucking
So-
Pasbani.
Robert Pazzabini.
so
Pazzabini, whatever his name is.
on Spotify,
Yeah.
if you look up any band and go to their artist page, Spotify will tell you how many monthly listeners
Okay.
that artist has, which means unique. Like if I listen to
Can
10,
you turn that off if you want to, if you're the band and you're
If you're
just too
embarrassed?
I don't
embarrassed?
think so.
Oh, damn. That's
Oh,
rough.
wow.
Although I think it has to reach a certain threshold before it starts to split. Like I don't think it'll
Alright.
show like 10 monthly listeners.
Okay.
So, and this is public. So, like, if I go and I listen to Dope 30 times, it doesn't matter. I'm only one monthly listener. So it's by unique accounts
Yes.
that listen to the page in the last 30 days. The guy from Dope posts a screenshot side by side of Dope and Machine Head. Machine Head is at 1,208,000
Wow, that
monthly
many?
listeners.
I can't believe that.
Dope is at 1,238,000.
What?
So Dope has more monthly listeners than Spotify. So
How could that be?
And
Edsel-
Machine Head.
Yeah.
Oh, then a Machine Head. I'm sorry. So Edsel writes this note, and honestly, he looks so good with this thing because he's like, look, yesterday Robb Flynn decided to write "Who the fuck listens to Dope," and like started
go.
taking shots at myself. Oh, and also Robb Flynn today posted a photo. He was at a meet and greet, and somebody who came to meet and greet him
Doyle.
wore a dope shirt. And
That was El Duderito. That had to have been El Duderito.
no, and he was like, "Hey, can you name any lyrics from any dope song?" He claims that he asked this girl, "Can you name any lyrics from any dope song?" And she said she couldn't, and that was the caption.
Okay. So there's a picture of the girl?
Him and the girl at the meet and greet.
Did she look
Which is
embarrassed or like happy?
No, she was cool. She was like happy to meet him. And again, like how? Like why are you going after this? Like what did dope do to you? Like they didn't do anything. They have not made and they haven't commented at all about this up until this point.
I think he's sort of telling on himself with all this because clearly in his mind he's like, if I rip off a band that I think nobody listened to, then nobody will catch me.
Right. The internet.
And now
will
he's
catch
trying
you.
to be like, no, trust me, nobody knows this band. You really don't know that I'm ripping them off.
He underestimated the hordes of rabid dope fans, apparently.
Yeah.
But so did I. I'm with Rob on that one.
Well, so you know, he was like, "Look, I feel like I need to say something. The truth is, I like Machine Head. If we were ever to like play the same show or festival, obviously we would open for them. But with that said, you know." I don't think it's right that you're taking all these shots at me. I'm paraphrasing, but this is basically what he said. And then he showed these screenshots, and he was like, "So more people listen to us than to you guys. So, like, hey, there you
But
go.
how
Shut
much
the
of
fuck
that
up."
is based on Robb Flynn's post and then people going on Spotify to listen to the dope song to compare?
I mean, that many.
I don't
we
know.
can't prove it.
Because the numbers are so close. Maybe his post is what pushed dope ahead of him.
The numbers are the numbers. It doesn't matter. Like, wouldn't they be listening? But wouldn't those same people have listened to the Machine Head song as well?
They probably already
Based
heard
on
it
that. But where do they hear it?
on Spotify.
So they
But
count
they're not
as,
added listeners to Machine Head.
What
They're
if those
that would've been
people-
listening anyway.
what if-
I mean, hey, the numbers are the numbers.
What if people went and listened to Machine Head because of all these rabid dope fans taught in the dope guy talked about Machine Head? And what an asshole
This
he
is like the East Coast, West Coast rap beef. It's just to boost record sales.
So if they both get shot, we can say this is something good came of this.
Sure, yeah.
I shouldn't say that. I don't want to incite somebody to shoot.
Yeah, I don't want anybody to get shot.
Yeah.
But just Robb Flynn is not looking good here. And I have, and to go into, we have to do our interview with Ginger, Tatiana from Ginger in a moment. So
We could ask her whose side she's on.
we don't have to involve her in this. But, like, these dumb pseudo-homophobic lyrics, it's not just in this song. There was a song about, like, he's a big anti-Trump guy.
Okay. This is Robb Flynn.
Robb Flynn, yes.
I know Rob Pazzabini is a big
Wait, so the song has homophobic lyrics? I thought just his comment had homophobic.
No, there is this. So let me look up the exact song lyric because I was tweeting with somebody about it today, and I couldn't believe that it is real. So the song is, it's like Razor
Ramon.
Do people ever troll him saying that he named his band after a Bush song?
Yeah, that's a good point.
I think they were around.
I'm
before
sure
Bush.
that's why it's trolling. Because you're ignoring the fact that they were around first and still just saying you named your band
So
after a Bush.
Razorblade Smile is the song.
Razorblade Suitcase. Dude, come on, another Bush parallel. What's going on here?
He just likes Bush.
So and the line is Trump's in bed with North Korea, and that just might be gay. Come on, what? Like what?
What's the line before it? I
North-
feel like there's got to be context, right?
He's just talking about Trump.
North Korea is a man, I guess.
Well, yeah, I mean,
Why is that? I don't know.
but what, that
I couldn't believe the lyric. I could not believe that like a label saw that.
Go figure that he found a way to make being anti-Trump seem over the line
Yeah,
and shitty.
he's like the metal version of Antifa. Am I right? Am I right, guys?
No, not touching that.